Hey friends, welcome back. This is Lucy. I hope that you are all doing well. This has been a crazy couple of months, and the past couple of weeks have been personally pretty hard for me. And so I am going to try to make some content that is totally unrelatable to the weight of the world right now, to just get your mind off of it. Still IBD related, but not corona related, because I just don't feel like I have the bandwidth to talk about that right now, and I think that some of you might not want to hear about it right now. So, one kind of fun or interesting thing that happened recently amidst everything was Easter. And a lot of people that have IBD have some dietary restrictions. And for me personally, and I know that for some others, dietary restrictions can become more noticeable or prominent around holiday times. For me personally, I think that the biggest food component that I cannot eat is dairy, and that is because of my IBD. I've always not tolerated it well. My entire life, I always considered myself lactose intolerant. And then as I got older and my Crohn's disease got more severe, it became a more and more severe intolerance. And so about 7 years ago, I completely cut out dairy, and it is not part of my diet at all anymore. And it doesn't bother me on a day-to-day basis. I have lots of dairy substitutes. It's not something I really even think about that often unless I'm eating out at a restaurant. But during the holidays, a lot of meals and candies and treats have dairy in them, and so I have had to learn to modify those things. During the holidays, I have always loved to bake, and as I started having more and more dietary restrictions, my family and I learned to accommodate that. There are so many things that you can make by taking a regular recipe and altering it so that the milk is non-dairy milk like soy or almond, and the butter can be substituted for margarine or vegan butter. I really like the brand Earth Balance, and to me it works just the same as butter. And so it's as simple as that. I would take any recipe for a cobbler, for a coffee cake, for sugar cookies, etc., that would normally be eaten around Easter time, and I would just substitute the milk with soy milk and the butter for Earth Balance. Another thing that I cannot eat that might come as a shock to a lot of people is that I cannot eat chocolate. While chocolate does aggravate my IBD, the main reason that I don't eat it is because it aggravates my anxiety, and cutting it out has drastically improved my quality of life. Growing up as a kid, I knew that it affected me in these ways, and so I didn't eat that much chocolate to begin with in my youth. But in the last couple of years, I have completely cut it out. Also, for personal reasons, I'm a vegetarian and thereby don't eat gelatin. And gelatin is in a lot of gummy candies. So you might think, well, if you can't have chocolate and you can't have gummy candies, what the heck do you eat for fun? Well, I've got news for you. Jelly beans are almost always vegan. So every Easter, your girl can be found eating jelly beans, jelly bellies, Swedish fish. Those are just a few of gummy candies that don't have gelatin, and I eat so much of them. If you are newly diagnosed or have some newly surfacing dietary restrictions coming on, then you might feel like that is a burden for you and a hindrance, and that nothing good can possibly come from it. But as somebody that has had to deal with dietary restrictions most of my life, I can tell you I've definitely felt that way before. But growing up, I've learned to realize that what I have gained through that experience is some willpower. And I don't mean willpower in cutting out sweets and only eating healthy foods, because your girl eats a lot of sweet treats. And I think that it's definitely okay to treat yourself. But by willpower, I mean that I have learned to take something that may have been seen as a burden or a hindrance and flip it into a new perspective of this is what's best for my body, and this is what's going to heal my body and help my body. So while it may seem hard if you are newly cutting out a certain food or are newly diagnosed and figuring out foods that you can't eat, my advice would be just really try to focus on the positives of what you still can eat. I think that a big part of having a chronic illness in general is having a positive perspective on things and thinking of things that you still have. I could spend my Easter and my Halloween thinking about how much I wish I could have a Reese's peanut butter cup or a Twix bar, but I know that that's not going to happen. And not only that, but I know that that wouldn't be good for me. And so I can focus on the fact of, okay, well, I'm going to treat myself for sure. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to have some jelly beans. You can't make me stop. But I'm also going to focus on the fact that, wow, I'm really glad that I am choosing to eat things that aren't going to hurt me and choosing to eat things that aren't going to make me feel sick and aren't going to make my body sick. Because that's under my control. I made that decision. And I think that just having that mindset when you start to feel a craving for food that you know you can't eat, or feeling really, whoa, my voice just cracked, and feeling really crabby about it, just focus on the fact that you're doing yourself a service by acknowledging that and choosing to eat something else, or choosing to go out of your way to make a different recipe for something that you're still craving. There's lots of ways that you can accommodate yourself, and thinking of it as doing your body a service. I hope you gained something from this, or just enjoyed watching me talk, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.